Narcissistic parents get worse when you become an adult because you're more difficult to manipulate than you were as a child. When you're a kid, you're literally helpless and your brain is still in development. Therefore, you were low-hanging fruit for your narcissistic parent and super easy to manipulate. And you may have noticed once you became a teenager and then an adult, your narcissistic parents' antics got worse because you started to think for yourself. You developed your own personality. You began having your own opinions. And therefore, their ability to manipulate you was inconvenienced. As you get older, start questioning things and becoming an adult and continue being an adult, your narcissistic parent will get more hostile because they're basically threatened by the fact that you can think for yourself and you're not the extension of themselves that they intended you to be. And once you recognize you're not obligated to be that extension, you're on the shit list. It was never your job to live up to this bullshit role that was decided for you in order to be under their control for as long as possible. Can you relate? Let me know in the comments if your narcissistic parent got worse the older you got.
You've always been difficult and too sensitive. You have zero respect for me.
How do I not respect you?
You're just mean to me. I don't know what changed. You just seem unhappy.
I'm asking how I don't respect you.
You know, you're really going to end up giving me a heart attack.
I think what you mean is that for a long time, you got to control things. You got to shame me for my feelings and tell me that I was the problem. I think that when I got old enough to actually articulate my feelings, you called it talking back instead of understanding that I was a human with my own thoughts and feelings. I think that you believe love means compliance and denying reality and that boundaries mean rejection. But you know what? All of my friends think you're ungrateful. Life is short, and if you want to hold a grudge, it only hurts you. And this would be an example of how you guilt trip me when I express how I feel. I don't even think you know you do it. And when you take distance, I'll tell all my friends a completely different story, that I tried so hard that you don't give me a chance to make it up to you. No mother is perfect, and it's obvious that you want a perfect mother. I come to you and I try to talk about things and have an honest conversation, and you are never accountable or vulnerable. I want to be close to you, but you make it so that I have to have distance.
For those who don't understand the dynamic when we have a narcissistic parent, it's always about them. Even if, like, let's say it's our birthday, they're going to either blow up and make a big scene. They're going to probably get you a really shitty gift that isn't something that you wanted. Narcissists tend to not be great gift givers because it's hard for them to put themselves in someone else's position. Remember, narcissists don't have empathy, so they can't feel for someone else, so they can't imagine what someone else would like. Okay, so you're probably going to get a really, shitty gift. And that means that there's never any space for you, even like your birthday or holidays. They're not about you. They're always about this other person. In this person's case, it sounds like it's their mother. So it's always about her. It's not about you. And slowly but surely, your identity becomes whatever she wants it to be.
Growing up with a narcissistic parent literally damages your brain in a way that I don't think a lot of people understand. Because they'll do the most psychotic, psychological, torturing things to you, and then sit there and smile in your face and say, "Why do you hate me? I don't understand. I'm your parent. I love you, and this is how you treat me." One of their favorite things to do is, like, after continuously torturing you, abusing you, fucking with you, and you finally had enough, and you say, "I don't fucking care. Stop talking to me. I'm so mad at you. I don't want to fucking be around you." And they hit you with the, "I'll always love you. You can treat me how you want to, and I get it, but just know that my love for you will never fade." Like, it's so sick. They'll spend your entire life making up stories about you, telling everyone that you're so troubled, telling everyone that you have all these issues that they're causing, right? They'll never talk about the fact that they come home and get mad at you for shit that happened during the day at their job. They get mad at you for shit they're making up in their head. They get mad at you because they can't regulate their own emotions and take it out on you 24/7. Even going as far as doing shit intentionally to make you mad in public just so that they can say, "See, everybody? I told you this is what it's like to deal with my kid. It's just so hard. Like, my kid's so mean, so hostile, so aggressive towards me. Please feel bad for me. I'm so scared of my kid." It's like, it's so sickening to watch it happen. Because then they'll get to a point as the kid gets older and the kid starts to defend themselves, speak up for themselves. This parent literally will start to call the cops on them, start to put them in therapy, put them on medication, do anything to control them so that they don't have a way to defend themselves. Even if someone else believes this kid, like, "Hey, kiddo, I actually do believe you that your parent is abusive, that your parent is fucking crazy, that your parent does things intentionally to hurt you and then punish you for being hurt." The moment that someone understands that kid or validates that kid or doesn't validate the parent's like, "Oh, you need to get away from my kid. oh no, you're putting things in their head. You're validating the wrong thing. You're supposed to be validating me. How dare you care about my child? And then it's like, ironically, these parents will have the most support ever. Like, people will be like, oh no, you're such a great parent. You know, kids these days, they have issues, but don't you ever take that personal. Don't you ever think that you're a bad parent. And it's like, no, you literally are a bad parent. Like, you're so fucking mentally ill that you're making your kids want to fucking kill themselves. And you don't care because, I'm such a victim. Pity me. Fuck you.
Apparently, not even apparently, if you grew up with narcissistic parents or parents with narcissistic controlling tendencies, it's very likely that you're obsessed now with self-development, self-work, right? Shadow work. You're obsessed, or you really want people to hold you accountable. Like, that's really all you want in life, is people around you that can hold you accountable and still love you at the same time, because your narcissistic parents have distorted your self-image, like who you know yourself to be. And I'm gonna tag the creator in the comments, but he was basically explaining how narcissistic parents will leave you with self-image dysmorphia, the same way we can have body dysmorphia if, you know, we have a parent that's really critical of our bodies. And when you're a child, you need people around you that can mirror back to you who you are, basically your identity, how you come off to other people. They can guide you to be more this way, more that way, depending on kind of the culture, what's expected of you, whether that's good or bad, right? The people around us, especially our parents and teachers, right? They shape us into who we need to be. So if excuse me, y'all, but if you have a narcissistic parent that has a very delusional, skewed understanding of life, understanding of themselves, then like they're going to shape you into like something you shouldn't be shaped into. And until you can see the fact that they shaped you into somebody you're not, or somebody that's a servant to them, right? Somebody that's a people pleaser, somebody that's easy to get along with and easy to control, okay? Until you realize what your identity has been shaped into by your narcissistic parent, you'll continue to play out this role that you're not. And you're going to keep hiding your inner strength, running away from your inner strength, because all your life you've been told that this is the person that you need to be. Like, you're acceptable when you're this way. But again, if your parent is freaking mentally ill, what are they really shaping you into? Oh, okay. So even for myself, since I've been like healing and really being accountable about like taking responsibility over my life, the biggest thing that I want are people who will be honest with me, like people who won't shy away from the truth around me. And I'm not gonna lie, I've ended up in some past situations, past relationships where that person used that to their advantage. They knew that my self-image was kind of still moldable, so they used that as leverage, and they told me that I was, again, things I'm not. And that led me into this spiral of trying to not only prove that I wasn't all these negative things, but also it caused me like, it felt like I was in a fucking psychosis. Like a couple years ago, a psychosis, because my self-image was just all types of distorted. Like, I didn't know my left from my right. And that's why I can come online today and talk to y'all like this, because I literally was in a self-image psychosis, which is what led me to like understanding my childhood and what the fuck was going on. I was literally losing my mind. Never again. Never again. So if you grow up with narcissistic parents, you're probably obsessed with self-development, because you're probably developing a self for the first time, period. Like, you're probably tapping into your true, genuine identity for the first time, period. Like basically the identity that you should have been able to freely express and freely walk into rooms with, like the you that you should have been naturally, has been hidden literally for years. So it's possible that you could be starting out with almost like
a 3-year-old self, a 4-year-old self, a 5-year-old self, whatever age you were at certain developmental years, you're going back and understanding who you were from the time you were 2 and becoming conscious that you were separate up to now. You know what I mean? So be patient with yourself if you feel like you're a late bloomer. Especially if you're neurodivergent. Oh my God. If you're neurodivergent and you're also a late bloomer and you were sheltered, like it's so many layers, right? Be patient with yourself, because you could literally be dealing with self-image dysmorphia. And that's not easy for anybody. Like, that's not an easy thing to deal with, just like body dysmorphia isn't an easy thing to deal with. You could look at yourself one day in the mirror and feel like you're in the best shape and you love your body, and the next day you're like, ew, like, I look disgusting. You know what I mean? So it's the same way with our personality. We have to learn how to accept ourselves when we're having a good day, when we make a mistake, when we're acting out of our ego, right? When we're a little bit too humble and we let people do this and that to us. Like, all the things of being a human, we now have to accept ourselves for that. That's how we start to find our identity, is self-acceptance. Like, grounding yourself in all of your flaws, in all of your ways. It don't matter what that looks like, okay? Being manipulative, right? We aren't saints. We can be manipulative, especially if we didn't learn how to confidently be ourselves. We tend to find different ways to go about getting our needs met still, and that can look like manipulation. That can look like being deceptive, right? So it's about learning ourselves in all of our ways, because we didn't get that chance as a child. But the perk of learning yourself as an adult as well is being able to put words to it, being able to actually explain. Because somebody who found their identity as a child, like, that's great for them. I'm not saying it's like, oh, they are lacking anything or they shouldn't have learned their identity. Like, no, that's normal. That's perfectly healthy. But they may not be able to give the insight to guide somebody else on their identity, or if somebody's going through a life crisis, right? I think people who are late bloomers, we're less likely to go through like huge crises once we start our self-work and self-discovery, because we're literally starting from square one as an adult. And typically people who go through these big crises, it's typically because they weren't ever curious about themselves or their identity and their childhood and how this influences that and how these behaviors, you know what I mean? So I would chalk it up to, like, if you're doing the work now, babe, you're on a road for a lifetime of enjoying your life, being who you genuinely, authentically are. In a way, not even influenced by the external world, because you've already experienced that in a negative way and you learned, no, I have to take control of myself. And so you may not fit in, you may not follow the trends, you may stand out, but like, it's for good reason. It's for great reason. So, yeah.
Narcissistic parents will bore their children. That is a form of neglect. They do not care about their children's enjoyment. They do not care about their children's inner world. They do not care about helping their child develop. Living with narcissistic parents is just a depressing vibe. Even if you don't live with them, if you go visit them, they will seek out their children to visit them or to come over their house, and they will bore them. It will be so boring. It's depressing. The irony is that they will be the fun parent for everybody else's children, right? They will take everybody else's children out, show them a good time. They will even be party people with people of their peers. They will hang out. They will plan trips. They will do things. But when it comes to their children, they just keep them in the house. They don't like them to be entertained. They will even use religion as a reason that their kids can't be exposed to entertainment. They're trying to deprive their children of joy. They will also try to deprive their children of influences outside of themselves, right? Because they want you to be under their control. But a lot of children of narcissistic parents have strong inner worlds because of this very thing, right? Because you have to learn to be creative and go inside yourself. You have to build your own world. You get very good at that when nobody has ever shown interest in your world or helped you to discover who you are. You do all of that on your own. You will have narcissistic parents that will want their children around just so people will think that their children come around them or that they have some sort of role in their life. But they will get their children around them and they won't do nothing. They will not be a parent to that child. They don't know how to have a conversation with their child. They don't know how to be vulnerable. And there's just a certain silence that is there with narcissistic parents, even for children, even for adults. When you become adult, it's really like them avoiding accountability. So there's always a conversation that needs to be had and them taking accountability. But it's just a silence, it's just a boring, it's just an emptiness with those people when it comes to their children, and especially children that they've harmed. I learned that a lot of narcissistic people are just boring people overall. And fun is subjective, right? But I'm saying complete void of activity with them, unless it's chaos. See, even if they are having a function, they will still somehow exclude their children. Their adult children, they will do it to their younger children. They will never engage their child in joy. But to everybody else, they may be fun. They may be the person to hang out with.
And one thing about a narcissistic parent is that they cannot fathom the fact that you have your own life. Once you hit an adult age, they cannot comprehend the fact that you have a real life. You could try to open up to them about bills and all whatever you got going on in life, and they're just looking at you like, oh yeah, that shit fake. Like they want you to struggle so bad. You can't even ask them for help, but they still want you to depend on them at the same time. And then once you elevate in life without depending on them, without needing any type of help, they feel some type of way, some type of jealousy or whatever. And it's just so weird. Like, I cannot with narcissistic parents. I wish that I could restart life and choose a different parent, because the best thing for you to do for your growth is to just cut that motherfucker parent off, because woo!